Hey everybody, Norm from Tested here. I'm at the Valve SteamVR Developer Showcase. It's an exhibition of about a dozen different games for virtual reality, and I'm about to try Space Pirate Trainer. It's a newly announced game that's an interesting take on a shooting gallery. All right, so I'm here with Dirk, one of the developers of Space Pirate Trainer. It seems like a basic shooting game, but there's a lot more to it. First of all, how did you guys want to differentiate, say, a two-pistol shooter from other shooting games?
Well, when we started developing the prototype, there were no real shooters available for the Vive yet, so we just were thinking, like, what would be the perfect shooter for this, like these controllers and this environment and the HTC Vive. We just started experimenting with the way we could use the environment, like the dodging, and then we started using bullet time and automatic bullet time, so you don't have to press for it. And I always wanted to shoot lasers as well, so I just implemented lasers as well. And everything that you want to do comes together, and you get some sort of solid prototype. And yeah, it became a game. In fact, it's just an experiment that became a game.
The choice of using lasers as opposed to instant hit bullets is interesting because it becomes itself a tracer, so the player can either look down the sight or can follow along and compensate as the objects move closer and further away. How does that affect gameplay, and why did you guys choose that?
Well, it took a long time to just get the speed of the lasers right and how much we would slow down time that it just feels right as well, because if you really slow down time, then it's just not right that you're moving as well. So we needed to have lasers that are not instant hits, so only we also have a railgun that's an instant hit. But yeah, it was just playing around with it. It took a long time to just get that feeling right.
The environment you have the player in is like a platform, kind of a hangar bay, as enemies are coming at you. But the enemies aren't just floating in front. There's actually a depth to the enemy. Like, they can slow down, come towards you. How does that affect your ability in VR, and how does that take advantage of room scale VR?
Well, right now there's some sort of AI integrated with it. It's like a solid, fluid. So they're really fluid and flying around you. So we're going to implement formations as well. So there will be forming triangles or circles around you and get back together and form something around it will be implementing bosses as well. So they'll fly around bosses in a certain way. So we really need to nail down that old school Space Invaders Galaga feel, and you're in the arcade, so that's what we're aiming for.
In Galaga, which I think is a perfect example of this, you can see all the enemies at once. Your situational awareness is complete because you see the screen. Here, you have to mentally keep track of where the enemies, their formations, moving around you. How complex is that going to get, and how much can you do before you overwhelm the player?
Well, that was a very difficult task. So right now we're not at a fully 360 degrees, or 270 degrees that we're using. But even that became a problem because you couldn't see the other droids where they're aiming or where they're firing. So right now, spatial awareness is super important. So we implemented a spatial audio as well. And so you can hear the enemies charging and firing at you, and you, instinctively you just turn around and start shooting at them. So you have a feeling just by the sound. Sound is super, super important in this game. And everyone who has a VR has a headset on, so we really could make use of that spatial audio as well.
Audio cues, as well as the bullet time itself, the mechanism is a cue because it triggers automatically as you're about to be hit, so you know then to move your body aside or to pull up your shield. One of your weapons is a railgun, and I was trying to look down the side of the railgun and finding that I was closing one of my eyes. How does that affect in VR? Because do you find that players position the gun toward their dominant eye?
Yeah, the weird thing is I asked another guy that really actually shot a red dot gun, and he said that even you have to look with two eyes. That's easier to aim than with a single eye, but everyone is aiming with one eye. It's something that you do automatically. But yeah, it's very it's totally different than in first-person shooters. When you use a gun, it's always aimed in the same direction as your camera, so you don't have the problem that if you're rough it's a certain amount of degrees with your gun and with your sight, and it's not hitting like the target. So it's really difficult. You find that aiming with a red dot is so more difficult than actually with a first-person shooter that you known from like classic games on PC.
And that's why you also have like lasers at different rates, different damage levels. How deep is this game going to get? Are you going to have different environments, different types of enemies? You said bosses. Like, what's the scope of Space Pirate Trainer?
Still be like a pick up and play arcade game, but we'll have like lots of items. The guns will be like morphable guns that have multiple firing modes, but we'll also have like this sort of physics grenades and ion grenades and all other like gimmicks. So you'll feel like Boba Fett. Like fighting droids.
I had a lot of fun playing Space Pirate Trainer. Thank you so much for demoing it for us.
Of course,
Thank you. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you.